Welcome to 07. I am CCP Guard. War is hell. More like hella fun, am I right? Well, it's been a tough week. If my eyes seem a little puffy, it's because I haven't slept for days. I'm just watching and watching from the sidelines, and like every time my head hits the pillow, I'm awoken by the sound of exploding ships and the silent screams of the frozen. But enough about me. I have a great show for you tonight. We are going to be giving out prizes on the channel, so chat and get skins. Also tweet us to 07 show hashtag, and we're gonna have fleet commanders live at the same time from both opposing sides. It's gonna be amazing. And then later on the show, Fozzie is gonna join us to talk about Citadels and some new stuff for them and what's coming up. We have a ton of videos for you. But before we go any further, we're going to go to the other set where CCP Mimic has some people to talk about some stuff, and we'll see what that is.
Hi, and welcome to the show. I'm CCP Mimic, and I am joined by CCP FoxFour, who is our technical designer, and CCP Bartender, who is a software engineer. Hello, guys. And we are going to be talking about the API Developer Challenge, which has just concluded. And I believe there were 42 entries?
42, that's correct.
Okay, and what did they have to do? Why were we doing this, and what were you hoping to achieve out of it?
So the main goal was just to get a bunch of developers that are in our third-party developer community to do something a little bit new. One of the stipulations with this challenge was you couldn't use an existing application or thing you'd made. You had to make something new. So it was kind of to get a lot of our developers out of their comfort zone, get them using the new Crest APIs, and just see what cool stuff they can cook up in 3 weeks.
In only 3 weeks?
Only 3 weeks. That's all they had.
Well, it's still really impressive that you got 42 entries in just 3 weeks.
I was quite surprised with the number. I was not quite expecting that many.
Okay. And what were the things that you were looking for? What were the difficulties that you came up with, I suppose, in trying to decide who was to win?
So when we put the original dev blog out, we had 4 criteria. So we had technical difficulty, we had creativity, we had clarity, and we had polish. Those were the 4 key things that we looked for when we went through the entries, and we came up with some really good ones. We came up with a short list of about 10 candidates that were really, really strong.
Closer to 15.
It's true.
Okay, and I believe all of that's going to be included in a dev blog, but we're going to keep this a little bit short because we've got a crazy amount in this show. So we're going to quickly run through who actually won, and I believe in 3rd place was Eve Fast Fitting. And can you tell me a little bit about what this actually is?
Yep, so that's what we've got up on the screen here. So this is Eve Fast Fitting Assessment by Rashawa Amerton. So what this is a desktop app, and the goal is to have it sort of open on the computer, maybe on a second monitor, when you're doing PvP. And the idea is that maybe like you jump into a low-sec system and there's one guy there, and you might go and do like a quick bit of intel on zKillboard or whatever, have a look at what he's in, and pick out one of his former kills, check D-scan, and you can see he's in the same kind of ship. So you can take one of his former kills and put it into this tool, and it will crunch a bunch of numbers, and it will come up with a really quick assessment on the fitting. So it will tell you things like effective EHP, speed without prop mod, with prop mod overheated.
And also like the top 2 or top 3 most common types of ammo that are used.
Correct. With it. And range, damage, all these sorts of things. So the idea is to sort of automate some of the key knowledge that otherwise takes months, if not years, to accumulate, that you have to know, off the top of your head in order to judge whether you can take someone on in PvP.
Okay, well, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
Really impressive. And that's the 3rd place. So
that's the 3rd place one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 2nd place, I believe, is Time for Eve.
Yeah, so Time for Eve was one that really grabbed us with sort of its creativity. This is a watch face for the Pebble smartwatch. So Pebble smartwatch synchronizes with your Android phone. And this one just provides like a little bit of a dashboard, kind of like a tiny EveMon, showing some basic information, your current local time, the current Eve time actually larger and in the middle there. I found a little bit entertaining. online status of the server, some market details, things like that. It's a nice little dashboard and with some nice little detailing. I didn't even notice it until it was specifically pointed out to me by CCP FoxFour, but the Eve E in the background, sort of segregating the information, it's a very elegant little entry, and yeah, very much worth second place, we think.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, well, before we get on to the first place winner, I believe that there was a specific category which was CCP Seagull's pick.
Yes.
And how was that different? Why was she given her own pick?
CCP Seagull, she's been with CCP since the beginning of Crest development, or more specifically, she's been working on Crest or around Crest since it was first thought of. So when we started doing this challenge, we thought it'd be really cool, since she's been around since the beginning of it, if she could just pick one based on no other criteria other than, hey, she thinks it's cool, or she likes it for whatever reason, and she could pick it just solely based on the fact that, I mean, she's been around it for so long, we thought it'd be cool.
Why not, yes. And so CCP Seagull's pick was EVE Online Contact Manager.
Yes. So.
And what does this do?
So very simply, you can log into one character and then log into another character and copy the contacts. We had a few entries like this. This was one of the slickest entries, just in general polish, really. Like, you can very quickly and easily search your contacts and filter by standings or watch list or corp or whatever. So it was...
And I take it all of that information goes along with it. So it's not just the contact, but any standings or any notes or anything that's along with it.
So this... contact management was one of the first things that we had working in Crest internally. Mm-hmm. So for Seagull, seeing this running and people doing something with this, like live in production, and the whole flow of it working was really, really awesome to her, which is, I believe, why she picked it.
Okay. And now we get to our first place, which is, of course, Pathfinder.
Yes, Pathfinder. So this is a really well-polished app. It's a desktop app. You download and install, and then it does sort of route planning, so you want to go from point A to point B. But what it does different than route planning in Eve is it can take in wormhole connections from Tripwire and wormhole connections for Thera from Eve Scout. So if you want to go from, say, like Amar to Jita, you can use this tool, and then it'll automatically take into account any wormholes that are along the way that you know about or you should know about via Tripwire. And then it uses Crest to set your autopilot destinations along the way, and to find your current locations. If you know you just want to go to Jita or whatever system from your current location, it figures it all out. So it decided it wanted to do something, and it does it very, very well.
It sounds like it. It sounds absolutely fascinating. But there is much more detail coming in a devlog, I believe, that you guys are just about to publish.
We're aiming to get it out tomorrow. It's in the system, going through the bureaucracy of a company.
Dotting I's and crossing T's and everything else. Well, thank you so much for letting us know. These are just amazing, and I can't imagine. It must have been really, really difficult trying to decide on...
It was not easy.
No, not through 42 out of all these. I mean, I can see why this one, but the others, all of them and everything else that we spoke about earlier today, I'm sure that they are just absolutely fantastic. Well, that's it about the API Developer Challenge, and I just also wanted to give a shout out to all of our friends at Riot who helped us when we were trying to set up how to do this, and because they had run something similar before. So thank you very much for all that help. It was really great to be able to work with you guys again. But now we are going to go to a time lapse about what it looks like in our office at lunchtime. And trust me, this is actually just normal time. So we'll see you in a bit.
Welcome back. That was our devs eating at regular speed, so it's really fast so they can make more spaceships. But CCP Tara is in chat giving away Quave shipskins, and you should tweet with the hashtag 07show, both to get on internet TV and to spread the word and win some Quave shipskins. So spread the word, my nerd. But we have some things to talk about.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about. And the first thing that we're going to be speaking about is, of course, Project Discovery. And in just under 3 weeks, you guys have completely run through the entire database of images, which we were expecting to last 2 to 3 months. And that means that almost 5 million images have been analyzed so far. And there are some amazing numbers with what you guys have been able to achieve with your accuracy.
Yeah.
So what happens now that you've run through them in just 3 weeks is there's going to be a second round of validation. And what this means is we're going to run through the database of images again, but don't worry, because no one will actually see the same image again. So none of it is being repeated, but what we're doing is getting a consensus on the consensus that we had, which means that therefore it's verified data and much more meaningful in the world of science, because
Super tight
science.
Yes.
So
Go science.
Go science. There is going to be much more detail about that on a devblog soon, and also all of the Project Discovery team, well, some of the Project Discovery team are going to be at Fanfest. So if you are going to be here in Reykjavik, then please check them out. They're going to have a booth and they can answer all your questions, and there's going to be some exciting interactive stuff as well. So definitely check that out.
Yeah. And we're going to quickly run through the player gatherings we have coming up. First, there's a really big event happening in June that you need to think about now, because they're selling tickets and we need to show them support now so they can plan even greater things. This is Eve Northeast, formerly Eve New England, which I went to last year and I had the best time with CCP Rise. It was like fireworks, bonfires, and beers, and good times in an outdoor setting. This time, there's going to be cabins, warm showers, all kind of nice things in Pennsylvania. So if you live in the U.S. And you have a car, just get out there. Go to their website, Eve Northeast, get your ticket. It's a fantastic
And that's
event.
on June the 16th.
June the 23rd it starts
sorry.
and ends on the 26th. So it's a few days. Then we also have things happening in April.
Yes, there's quite a lot happening in April. There is the Glasgow meet, which I believe is this Saturday.
Yeah, April 2nd, yes.
Yes, that's their 15th. There's also the Tweet Fleet meet just before Fanfest.
Yes, and the warm-up for Fanfest in Melbourne on 16th of April.
Yes.
So the Tweet Fleet meet is going to take place at a place called Gaukurinn, if you can pronounce that. But all the information is on Eve Meet, of course. So
Yes,
just go there and find your events.
And if you aren't here or in Melbourne, then just go to Eve Meet and see what else is close by.
Exactly.
Okay, on the 16th of April, just before Fanfest, and actually in preparation of Fanfest, the Care for Kids team are going to be having a player gathering, and they're going to be playing Eve together, and they are going to be discussing what to expect from the Fanfest stream, because that is, of course, 3 days full of us talking about spaceships and all of the presentations and everything that's involved. So they're going to be doing that on the 16th of April. And also on the same day is going to be the Pew for Reps Fleet Roam, which is to bring awareness to Broadcast for Reps. So if you are in a MAR at any time around 1900 or that's when they're going to start forming up in a MAR, and then they're going to leave at 2100, and off they go and fight all the things.
Yes.
It's lots of fun. There have been devs on all of them so far, and we're going to get some more, and that's, of course, on the 16th of April.
Great fleet action.
Well, talking so fast. Well,
so much happening. Then we have an announcement to make.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. We have an announcement to make about our Fanfest presenters.
Yes.
So we advertised for presenters from the player base who are coming to Fanfest to join us on the stream for, because 07 is going to be streaming live from Fanfest for 3 days.
We will, which
and we need some
is
help.
I checked just before the stream started, it's in 494 hours.
Yes.
494 hours, we are going to be joined by these marvelous people. Yeah. And that is Sindel Pellion, Rain Chocolate, Bam Stroker, and Spanky Akala. Yeah. So we are super excited about that.
We got so many good, but we only got good applications this year, so we basically just had to make a call, and these are people thanks to everyone who applied.
Yes, thank you very much. I mean, we had 7 player hosts last year, and so we were trying to get new people, but we had to still BAM again because it's BAM.
These guys are going to do amazing things.
Yes, it is.
On the video front, we have a couple of new videos we'd like to point you to. Of course, the internet is full of amazing e-videos these days. Most of them are propaganda, of course, and we are extremely neutral here at CCP headquarters. But go check out all the propaganda. Some of it is amazingly made. But we have a scope video that just came out today about the war, and it might be the biggest player event the scope has ever covered. It's a fantastic video and exciting events, of course. And then Rooks and Kings also came out with a video about the start of the big war, and it's really it's beautiful. It's poetic as usual.
It is. And talking about war, I'm just going to quickly go back to Fanfest. Just one last little thing, because this is more about war than Fanfest, and that is the fact that Dreklas and Naiden challenged the Vikings of CCP to a beard growing competition as part of Beards for Kids to raise money for the Care for Kids movement, and they keep posting their own little progress pictures, and so this is an image I took of CCP's cognac earlier today, and I think we've got this.
This is all that's left.
This is all that's left of CCP Con.
It's going to be great to have him back after Fanfest.
Yes.
But we want to raise our attention to a lot of great events from Event T this weekend happening. They're going to be streaming. Event T has been doing Event T Collides all winter and all last winter. Fantastic tournament action, really high quality, good production stuff. They're having 2 events, both on the Saturday and the Sunday this weekend. They have kind of the junior league, the Fight Club on Saturday, and then they have the major leagues, the invitational Event T Collides on Sunday. So go to their website, eve-nt.uk, and check it out for the schedule and more information, and go support these guys. They're doing an amazing job.
Exactly. And they have also just created a new segment for us on the 07 show, which we'll be showing very shortly, and that is their take on the celebrity shootout. But before we go across to that video, we're going to show you the adverts from the streamers so that you guys know who to check out when we aren't on the show. So take a look at this.
Alright, I think we've got him. Yes! Oh, he has a damage control. This is bad for me. He might win, actually. This is kind of shit. Oh, we got him. Nice. Oh, maybe it's fusion. Alright, we got him anyway. That's a fucking saber, boys. If I have to reload, I'm going to be really mad. Yeah, we got him.
So you did most of the damage to the worms.
Yes! I'm so proud of myself. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah.
Quick, jump. He's dead. Nice.
Shoot him. Pew, 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 pew. No, I fucked up. I got a kill. My Jones got me a kill.
Make sure you're not scrammed.
Got him. Everyone's gonna die.
Shoot the eggs!
Micro warp drive more quickly!
Oh, this is
expert.
Weird. Everyone's dying.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Be positive for a sec.
Hey everybody, it's me, Manic Velocity. I recently quit my job in order to become a professional Eve streamer. It's something I've always been really passionate about ever since I learned I could get paid to do it. So now I need your help to make my dreams come true and to cover my living expenses. Check out my Twitch channel where I stream every Thursday for 2 whole hours. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in hell.
Welcome to the very first episode of Celebrity Collides. In the show, we'll be pairing up 2 to several celebrities from the EVE Online community and get them to fight each other, and each fight will have its own theme. Tonight we have 2 of the best known EVE third parties for you. This is Blue Melon and Cribba, and the theme that they've been given is Alliance Tournament Cruisers with purple fittings. So I'm looking forward to this matchup. But very first, we have Tiberius Stargazer, our editor-in-chief, to tell you a little bit more about these celebrities.
Hello Nash and welcome viewers. I'm really excited about today's matchup because we have the 2 most trusted names in EVE Online. Providers of third-party services, these 2 players need to have that trust well built in order to facilitate the trade of supercarriers and titans between other players. But of course, this is not the only thing these 2 players are famous for. Indeed not. Blue Melon is very well known for his large amounts of ISK, but he also has an extensive collection of Alliance tournament ships, which he likes to fly and lose. But being a member of Elitist Ops in Pandemic Legion, I'm pretty sure he has ample access to a supply. Trevor himself also runs lots of third-party services out of game, such as EVE Board for keeping track of your character stats, EVE Offline for seeing when the server is up and down, and EVE Search for looking at all those old forum posts.
Thank you very much, Tiberius. We are actually ready in the arena, and we'll take you straight there where both competitors are waiting. And in the booth this evening, we have Elise Randolph and Bay RJ commentating on the match.
Okay, guys, and welcome. I am Elise Randolph, joined by Bay RJ, and we've got something special for you, as Nash alluded to. We've got Cribba over here in Evangel, and it is one of the prettiest ships ever that has been awarded. It's the winning ship from the Alliance Tournament Alliance Tournament 9 champions, and it is like a mishmash between a curse and a sacrilege. It is incredibly tanky. It uses heavy missiles, and it newts like a truck. It is amazing, and I wish we saw more of them. Bay, why don't you tell us what Blue Melon's flying?
So Blue Melon is flying the Maracha, which is another Alliance Tournament prize ship. This is basically a rapier combined with a vagabond / Cinnabon. So it has insane webs. It can also project damage pretty well with those autocannons. Out to about 25 kilometers. So the match has just started straight away. Blue Melon actually brawling in very close to Tribber, actually on top of each other. I figured he would try and kite, but not so.
Yeah, no, these guys both whipped in really close to one another, and they are both just right on top of one another. Obviously, the Evangel, as I mentioned, is known for being incredibly tanky. The Maracha known for having a shitload of control, and so it can dictate range. And we see, it looks like Blue Melon's doing a lot of damage to the Evangel so far. Obviously, the Evangel is going to be armor tanked, and the Maracha probably shield tanked. Yeah, there are no restrictions on what these guys can fit on their ships. There are no restrictions on implants. This is a full bling matchup. These ships are worth upwards of 200 billion ISK right now, and with implants and everything. So they're just going to town right now. And it looks like for now, Blue Melon might have the slight advantage. Usually for the Maracha, we see like holding back a little bit further and using artillery, but Blue Melon has opted for the autocannon fit, and it's just zonking away.
Yeah, so he's actually doing a ton of damage. Presuming he's got something like Domination EMP loaded, he's going to be doing roughly 750, 775 DPS within his optimal. His optimal is close, so he is shooting in fall off. But he's still doing a ton of damage to that Vanguard. I don't think Cribba's going to be able to tank him before those newts really take effect.
Yeah, well, he's got double newts, and they're like super strong newts that the Vangel's got, and just because of by virtue of the ship bonus. So the longer this fight goes on, the better suited it is for Kribba's Vangel.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just looking at the maths. So Kribba can clear probably around about 700 cap every 12 seconds. The Ratchet only has a capacity of 1800, so if he staggers those newts right, I think he should be able to stop the Ratchet tanking. Although, having said that, he's having no problems at the moment, and he is slowly grinding away that Vanguard. The Vanguard should be able to tank around about 680, a little bit more DPS if he's overloaded. So he's going to just slowly die here. His reps just can't quite keep up with the autocannon damage.
Yeah, he is losing about 1% of armor every 5 seconds here or something. So
yeah,
just letting his ship get to like half health and then boosting while injecting. And Kribba's still holding it at 45% armor. Like he's not going down very fast at all.
No, he's slowly dropping. And in fact, he's kind of almost holding at this point. It's interesting. They can both dictate range quite well. The Miracha obviously has those super strong webs that can web out to almost as far as he needs in this match, about 35 overloaded further. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think as well those drones just slowly chipping him away are not helping him. And also he won't be able to hit those very well with his heavy missiles.
Yeah, Kribba opted for the heavy missiles over the heavy assault missiles.
But the Ratchet has a huge amount of power grid for a ship of his whole size. So it's obviously doing really well here. I think it looks like he's in a very, very good position. He's still 100% shield boosting. He's getting boosts off now with those cap boosters, and Tribba is slowly dipping 20% armor and slowly waning.
Oh, this is. I'm glad that Kribba went for a more offensive build for his ship. He could have easily gone for like a super brick tank ship, and it would have been impossible to break under any circumstance. And Blue Melon also, he went for quite a brawly ship. Like he's going full damage essentially with just a wee bit of tank. Yeah, and if we go by damage done, Blue Melon definitely also has the edge because he definitely went full on blink fit for his gank fit on his Miracha. And what a beautiful, beautiful design this Miracha is. It's a ship that doesn't have like there's nothing else like it on TQ. It's not like a modified anything, whereas the Vangel is just kind of like a prettier Devoter or Sacrilege.
I love that model. It is a great model. So we have two very pretty ships shooting each other here. Tribba now just starting to beat structure. 20 seconds. I don't think he's going to die, but he's certainly dropping hard now. He's got
my God.
8 seconds left.
Can Blue Melon do it? I bet you he's got to
can.
be overheating like Will right now.
He's going
there's only
straight
5
in
seconds
for
left.
He's going straight in for optimal range.
Get a little bit closer. Come on, we want to see this Vangel explode. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous ship, but I'm sure the explosion's even more pretty somehow.
And the match is over.
No.
We'll give it to the referee in the studio to decide on the winner.
Welcome back. Thank you very much, Bay RJ and Elise Randolph for that wonderful commentating. No explosion? I guarantee for the very next show we will guarantee explosions, even if we have to assist. Yeah, make sure to tune in. See you then.
Welcome back. We saw that Kribba is as violent as ever. And that was fun. So now I have with me 2 people on the opposing sides of the war, 2 fleet commanders who need no introduction, but we'll get one nonetheless. I have DaBigRedBoat from the Imperium side and Vily from Dreaded, the attacking side. Welcome.
Hello.
So we're in the middle of a vicious war. Have you guys been getting any sleep?
I have definitely, without a question of a doubt, lost some sleep over this war already.
And it's just starting. And we have no idea how long this is going to take. Well, maybe you guys have some idea. But Vily, I want to start with you because you are on the attacking side in this war, or so the war reports say. Why are you guys attacking the Imperium now?
Because it needs to be done. Sometimes people in EVE take control of things that they need to be burned down to the point that, let me put it like this. You have an empire that has long exceeded its lifespan. The people in charge need to be brought down, and we're the people to do it.
Yeah. So what do you say to that, Boat? Do you agree with that assessment?
I mean, it's possible that they're going to try, but the thing is with the game the way it is now, that the Empire can just, move to low-sec, which is what most of us have done. And you can't really kill a low-sec station. You can't capture a low-sec station. So we can all just live there and then, counterattack, as the popular term would be, from out of that station. So
is that the plan, to an organized retreat of some sorts, or what is the plan to deal with this massive attack?
Organized so far.
So you'll notice that Veil the Silent is the big target. Lots of timers in Veil the Silent if you use Dotland. And you'll notice that Veil the Silent is empty because the people in the Imperium that live there have all left. They all went to Losec.
Yeah, they did.
So there's nobody in the region anymore. There's just a bunch of timers being created for nothing.
Okay.
Well, they're not being created for nothing. They'll be created so that we can take your space. The fact that you already ran and gave it up with no effort is not necessarily a victory for you. It is merely a situation where you have just preemptively surrendered.
Oof. Harsh words. But I want to know from you, Vily, what would you consider to be victory conditions in a war like this?
Well, the natural victory condition, obviously, is the removal of all sovereign space from Imperium forces, all of their towers torn down, and the membership alliances of the Imperium, as many as we can, burned to the ground and ripped to shreds.
Oh, wow. And Boat, obviously you don't want that to happen, and you have some tools to fight these plans. So, I mean, how exactly are you planning to repel their attack and make sure that...
Sword fleet.
Interceptors. Yep.
Interceptors.
Newbies from Karma Fleet. We have a lot of newbies coming in, a lot of new players, a lot of new frigates, like little T1 frigates. And then we also have a lot of interceptors from, we have a fleet doctrine called Sword Fleet, which are interceptors that insta-warp, they dodge bubbles, they go in, they kill the hacker, and they go home and avoid fights. That's the key here, avoid fights.
Okay. Hasn't been a lot of avoiding fights up until now. Well, at least not where I'm sitting. There's a lot of things blowing up, but we'll see how it progresses. So, I mean... What happens? I want to know, what happens if they fail to beat you and this war ends? I mean, what are there going to be consequences for the ones that attacked you?
I mean, maybe a few of them that actually own space, but if you look, the war right now it's 57 alliances versus 12 alliances, right? And of the 57, only 3 own space. The rest of them either live in low-sec or NPC 00, so there's nowhere really to hit them. I mean, sure, we can mess with their stuff in Jita, we can chase them around the frigates, but there's not really a space to hit, Maybe with Citadels coming out soon that you can blow up their NPC stations and then, you could do that kind of thing. But yeah, that's where we're at now. It's that eventually, yeah, sure, if we win, we'll go after them, but it depends on where they live after the war's over.
Okay. You talked about the interceptor fleets. Vily, do you guys have any favorite fleet doctrine at the moment?
Well, Test Alliance is, crazily enough, a actually well-developed alliance in terms of military fleet doctrines, unlike our enemy, which is kind of funny because I recall leaving them with a well-balanced military, which they do not seem to have now. We are currently able to field Macarial Fleet, Maelstrom Fleet, Proteus Fleet, Cerberus Fleet, our Entosis Doctrine, Sveeples. We have a wide variety of fleet doctrines to choose from. And part of that ability to choose our engagement tools is why we've been what's the proper term? Running a train straight over the CFC, I guess.
Big words being thrown here on the 07 show.
Well, big words, big victories. I mean, that's how it goes, right?
Yeah. All right. So, how are you guys? Like, how is the current soft system working for you guys in this war now? Like the first big war in the current soft system.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. I love the soft system the way it is, because the soft system the way it is now promotes hacking nodes and doing soft stuff and then running away and then hack some more nodes and then run away and then hack some more nodes. It feels like guerrilla warfare at EVE. And all these numbers, I mean, you have what, 5,000 people in one situation in MSO. It was a lot of like run away from each other. Like one fleet would go here and then you'd run here and then the other fleet would go there. And it's just lots of running around. It's so fun because I'm scatterbrained. So I love running around and being wild and not really in one focused area fighting. So it was a lot of fun.
So, all right. So that's quite interesting. I'm gonna have to cut this short because we're running out of time. But do you guys have any final words that you want to get out before we leave?
Woo!
Is that it?
Well, I mean, I'm having fun. So like the last couple weeks, I haven't even been up north. Like the big war has been up north. I've been down south, and I've been trying to work on my application to Pandemic Legion. And Pandemic Legion, if you remember, about a year ago, took Brave and newbies, which were a bunch of newbies, and they harassed them until they died. And so I've been down south with a bunch of elite PvPers, and we've been going after Pandemic Horde, which is a new newbie alliance. And so yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We've gotten them to the point where they hate newbies now, apparently. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Oh, it's been a blast. So.
Running on the other front.
Well,
right.
I would say to the Imperium that I wish them the best of luck, because it is absolutely true that they are going to need every little bit of it, because the train has no brakes, and the roadkill on the side of the road is already being picked over by the vultures.
All right, that's very good. So. Vily, formerly of the Imperium, now with Reddit, and DaBigRedBoat with the Imperium. Thank you so much for being on. I can't wait to watch more of this stuff. Good luck to both of you.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming. We're going to go to the next thing, which is the Prosper market report, where Locke Fox is going to go over some of the effects this war is having on the markets, and then we're going to be back with CCP Fozzie. Stay tuned for that.
Welcome to a special market summary from EVE Prosper. Today we will be covering the YC 118.3 release and economic fallout from the recent Money Badger versus Imperium war dominating the news. Starting in Plex and skill trading, these markets show some interesting trends. First, Plex had a hard dip mid-March, slipping just under the 1 billion mark. This looks to be part of a liquidity squeeze in preparation for Citadel's release in April. Prices have recovered, but seem to be back in a weak but stable band. Some expect Plex to rise into the Citadel release, but we at EVE Prosper are forecasting a stable 1.2 billion target into Fanfest. Elsewhere, in the skill injector market, ISK per skill point prices have settled into a 750 ISK per skill point average. This is much higher than we originally forecasted and is a booming opportunity for skill point farmers, allowing them to recoup full Plex costs as well as some additional profit for the work. But the big news this week is the Money Badger Coalition versus the Imperium, so let's go look at the fallout from all the fighting. First, looking at activity metrics, thanks to Blake Armitage at K162space.com, we can see a massive dip in ratting activity in Garista and Nullsec. Places like Vale and Tribute have come to a complete halt as Imperium loses ground. This spells bad news for the famous Isktar. As Ratters are losing secure space to farm, Ishtars are backing up in Jita, causing a serious glut in supply and crashing the price. Meanwhile, watching popular PvP hulls, we can see the Cerberus, Gila, Macarial, and Tengu trading blows in relatively even measure. Specifically, the Macarial and Cerberus have been extremely popular in the latest fighting. Surging in popularity on the Money Badger's side, the Cerberus has proven a capable platform in the latest war. Though in healthy supply at the start of March, we can see now that producers are having a hard time keeping up with demand, leading to a surge in prices. And last on our list, the Macarial has been a popular platform on the Imperium side.
Capable and versatile, though demand has surged to arm the Imperium, supply has had no trouble keeping up with this demand. This concludes our Prosper Market Brief for YC 118.3. Be sure to tune in at 0300 tonight for a full in-depth review of the EVE economy on Twitch and YouTube. To follow us, all you have to remember is EVE Prosper. That'll get you to Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and our blog. I have been your host, Locke, signing off from EVE Prosper.
Thank you very much to Locke for that report on the EVE Prosper, and I believe that he's going to be streaming some more things at 0300 on his channel on Twitch, so definitely check that out. And now we have a report from Hendrick Tallardar and what's been happening in New Eden. Here's the 07 report.
Hello there, space friends. Hendrick Tallardar here with the latest edition of the 07 report. A quick recap of all the happenings in EVE Online over the past few weeks. In the most recent episode, I mentioned that EVE's nullsec warring had all but come to a crawl. For a variety of different reasons, the nullsec entities had simply been disinterested in warring with one another for prolonged periods of time. That all changed over the past few weeks, and until recently, things have gone into full-blown war mode. I am, of course, referring to the Imperium facing off against a new, temporary coalition of alliances that have decided to declare war onto the powerhouse of the North. As a result, I'll be referring to it as the Northern War. This new group, carrying two names, the Money Badger Coalition, or the joking title of the Good Guys Coalition, describes themselves as a coalition of convenience thanks to a shared interest in attacking the Imperium's northern holdings. Groups that have traditionally warred with one another, such as Pandemic Legion, Snuffed Out, Shadow Cartel, Psychotic Tendencies, the OSS, and so forth, have now banded together after a series of very fortunate events. Each of these groups have been poking and prodding the various alliances in the north that fall under the Imperium's banner, with successes such as destroying Titans that were in build, disrupting PvE activities of the residents, and so on. In Fade, Pandemic Horde and some of their allies were able to take a station belonging to Space Monkey's alliance in their own home region. Meanwhile, to the east in the Veil of the Silent region, the Imperium began losing more and more of its footing to the likes of Pandemic Legion. Faced with an encroaching enemy, Imperium leadership then announced that they would be vacating Veil of the Silent, home to some of their members, and pulling themselves further back into a more condensed area. Just a few days after this, however, the Imperium suffered another setback. In the tribute system of M-0EE8, which belongs to Circle of Two, who have been a member of the CFC and the Imperium for several years now, a large battle broke out over the infrastructure hub. This fight saw over 4,000 players show up to contest the structure for each of their sides, which ultimately fell to the Money Badger Coalition. Thanks to the sovereignty mechanics involved, fighting was spread out across several systems, which were all subjected to time dilation, something members of the Imperium have attributed to their loss in both the strategic objective and the pure fighting itself. The 5-hour engagement saw the Imperium lose over 240 billion Iskan ships and assorted assets. The bulk of this was in the form of battleship and strategic cruiser fleets. After the dust had settled, however, Circle of Two leadership then announced that they had reached a conclusion and opted to secede themselves from the Imperium, a move they claimed was considered prior to the results of the battle. Understandably, the Imperium's leadership responded with frustration and annoyance, calling it a betrayal. It was alleged that Circle of Two had been paid off to defect, something confirmed by their leadership in interviews, thus ending a multi-year friendship they had with the Imperium's member alliances. Shortly after this announcement, various other groups within the Imperium also proclaimed that they would be leaving, though some of these were purely jokes. One legitimate announcement, however, was that the near 1,000 player strong corporation, Boval Borers Mining Co-op, would be leaving the Imperium. Over the past few months, the Imperium, across the board, has suffered from players leaving the Coalition to the tune of at least 2,500 player characters leaving en masse. The Northern War is still in its infancy, so with more fighting, more timers, and potentially more betrayal as the fighting goes on, things are about to get very interesting for those that enjoy the nullsec wars. At the time of this recording, the Drone Region Federation, who share borders with the Imperium, have not claimed support for any side in the fighting. Unfortunately, that's about all the time we have for in this video. If you're interested in hearing more about these events, I recommend you check out my monthly nullsec recap, as well as checking out many of the Twitch streams covering the fighting. I'm Hendrick Tallardar, and I will see you next time.
All right, that was the 07 report by Hendrick Tallardar, informative as always. And with us now we have CCP Fozzie, who's gonna...
Hi, glad to be here.
Yeah, good to have you on the show. So you've been very busy
Yeah, we all have. This has been a very busy time in EVE We're working hard on getting the Citadel expansion done, and I think all of you guys who've been watching Sissy have seen a lot of really cool stuff appearing over the past little while. And big thanks to everyone who's been on Sissy testing and giving us feedback.
Yeah, it's been there's a lot of stuff going on, and then like FanFest coming, and everything is like it's super busy. One of the busiest periods of the year.
Yeah,
well, the busiest period of the year probably.
Exactly. And for those of you who don't actually know, the release date for the Citadel expansion is the 27th of April, which is the Wednesday after FanFest, which is why we keep hyping up FanFest, because it makes us even more excited about the fact that just when we think that everything's quieted down, we have the expansion straight afterwards.
And then Eve's birthday, like right after that too.
Yeah,
it's a great time.
It's a pretty great time. And there's so much going on, and then this big war breaks out just before all of this, and we're seeing a lot of old friends coming back to Eve, and it's a good time. It's a good time. So tell us a little bit about what's been happening with the progression of the Citadel's expansion.
Yeah, so we're coming along really well. We've got 5.0 has been working primarily on capital ships, and we've been making a lot of progress there. We just put some more forum posts up with some proposed stats for some of the capital ships just today from CCP Larrikin, and we've been getting a lot of great feedback from the Capital Focus Group and from the general public. And then as well, we're also working on Citadels, mainly Team Game of Drones with that, and that's coming along really well as well. Yeah. Some players have found the special Upwell Palatine Citadel and started to get some hints of that. I know there was just a Crossing Zebras article about it today. I think that's going to be a pretty exciting one. That's just a variant, basically a faction variant of the XL Citadel, but absolutely gigantic and incredibly expensive. I don't think people are going to be able to build it very quickly because it's just ridiculously expensive.
It's ridiculously expensive.
It's a great way to show off.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's something that people are going to have to, people are going to have to save up for a long time, or borrow money from crypto or something.
Or certainly get your friends to help out. It's not something you can do on the weekends by yourself.
Pretty much all the trit. Like just take all the trit in Jita.
Okay. That's a lot of trit.
I think the build price with current values is a little over 100 trillion ISK.
100 trillion.
100 trillion. That's not something you just say for one structure. And then there can only ever be one in space at a time. So you can build a bunch, but once someone has anchored one, if you want to drop your own, you have to kill that one first. And so it's just basically a status symbol. It was a nice, we had the idea of looking back at some of the great points in EVE's history when there's been these goals that seem unachievable, but players band together to do them anyways.
Yes.
And so we wanted to see if there was a way that we could add another one of those essentially unachievable goals where we just say, let's balance this thing to be impossible, and our players will find a way.
Yeah. I mean, like, I remember like when Titans first came out, I mean, I was here and like people were saying like, there's going to be like one in every alliance, tops. Maybe there's going to be like 3 in the game at any time, but it's good to give people. It's good to give people chances to surprise us.
Yes,
it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see what comes out of that. Like someone's going to build it, then someone's going to want one of their own, and they're going to go after this very expensive.
And it's possible no one will build it for a while, but that's fine too. Players can basically do whatever they want with it. Yeah.
And while we're talking about Titans, there is something to making extra special that are going to be lurking in the darkness, and that's the PvP aspect of it, which hasn't really been spoken about that much about what's coming
PvE,
in.
Yes.
PvE.
Yeah, we haven't been talking too much about that yet, but we've actually been working on some PvE for this expansion as well, focused on capital ships. Because we're redoing all the capital ships, we want to make sure there are some cool PvE experiences in different parts of space for you to use your capital ships with. They don't necessarily require capitals, but capitals help a ton. One big part of it is we're adding new set of pirate NPC capitals that'll appear in nullsec only. So these are going to be, there's 3 variations. There's one of the Titans there. It's a Blood Raiders Titan. This will be showing up in Blood Raider space. There's going to be a normal capital, a commander capital, and then a Titan or super carrier from each pirate faction. They're going to be extremely valuable NPCs. They're quite rare. More common than officers, but less common than the normal commanders. And they'll appear in asteroid belts randomly, but they'll also appear in anomalies, including the anomalies that come from the SOV upgrades. So it'll be a random, just like you can get the random commander spawns now with those anomalies, you'll be able to get a random chance that a Titan will come in. And you probably will have to bring in some friends to help out with that one.
Yeah, I could imagine. It's going to be
they'll have really big bounties themselves. They also are going to be the places where you get the blueprints for the faction capital modules as well.
Nice. Nice. And you were telling us about about something about them. If you don't kill them all, and
well, that's for what we're talking about next, not for these ones. But yes, but
that's for the next one.
These ones are all like normal NPCs, just bigger and badder. They're not going to be impossible by any means. You will be able to kill them with subcaps, but they have a lot of hit points and they are pretty tough. So if you bring in capitals, that's going to really help. I remember when officers got buffed years back before I started CCP, when I was playing Eve, people were running to these officers and like calling in a friend and a carrier to help kill them. I think we want to get that kind of experience again. You're in an anomaly and this Titan warps in and you get really excited and call your friends and go get some really cool loot and some big bounties. Yeah,
that's good. Promote some teamwork and good to have friends.
Nice little bit of a jackpot too.
Yeah, exactly.
But then the other area that we're doing some new capital PvE is the area where we probably have the most capital PvE right now, which is in wormholes. So capitals are, of course, a huge part of high-class wormhole PvE, especially the capital escalations. So the ability that when you warp in a capital, some extra NPCs will come in. And fun fact, those NPCs originally, way back in the day, were intended to be a kind of almost penalty for bringing in capitals because they were worried it would be too easy if you could bring in capitals easily. So they're like, these NPCs will come in and they'll kill the capitals. Turns out players just found a way to farm them instead and make a lot of money from them. And that was really cool, creative gameplay for our players. But we've decided in Citadels to create a real designed experience for capital PvE in wormholes instead of the sort of ad hoc accidental thing that was there before. So we're going to be replacing the existing escalation NPCs with a new set of escalation NPCs that are designed for fighting capitals. So they're not going to be too much harder than the existing ones. There's going to be a smaller number of tougher NPCs. And they'll be designed that you can kill them quite easily with capitals. They'll have very big SIGs, so you can hit them for full damage with a normal capital gun. But you can also kill them with smaller ships as well. But then aside from those, we're also going to be adding a new boss to the end of C5 and C6 wormhole sites. And this is going to be a drifter that's showing up to basically defend some of the sleeper sites that Capsuleers have been running rampage through and just like destroying everything for years, and the drifters are not pleased. So this is going to be the toughest drifter we've ever created. I think in a lot of ways it's a lot like a drifter burner. If you imagine what that would be like.
This is being created by the team who have done all of the burner missions so far. So now you give them the opportunity to create capital escalations. And
sadistic minds with new tools.
The Arithmos Tyrannos is not happy at all. And so it's also, besides being probably the toughest NPC we've ever created, it's also by far the most valuable NPC we've ever created because we're putting a lot of the value that was in the escalations into this boss. So this is a boss that appears when the wormhole or site is complete. It also has big signature, so if you bring capitals, they'll be able to deal full damage to it. You'll be able to be really effective against it. But you can also kill it with a group of subcaps as well. It's just going to be a little bit more work. We're looking at between around 350 million-esque probably just for that one NPC. A bit on either side depending on how the salvage market is at any time. But really, really valuable NPC. And one of the really cool things about it, it's going to be using the new Drifter AI, and that means that it's not actually tied to the site. Unlike most NPCs that spawn in sites, this one, if you don't point it, it'll just warp off and leave. And will hang around after the site disappears. So if you lose this thing, you will be able to probe it down and catch it. But if you don't do that, eventually they will build up in the system. And they come to each other's aid, too. So if you let them get if you let too many spawn, then you'll have a big fight on your hands, which is really exciting. We've been talking to the CSM about this for a little while, and I know they've been pretty excited about it too. I'm really excited to see what players do with it. You'll have the option of going into somebody else's wormhole and completing some sites and leaving the NPCs there, and then maybe they'll like drop on someone. Although you're leaving a lot of money on the table if you do that, because they are very valuable NPCs.
And they don't go away at downtime.
No, they persist for a while. They hang around. They just
go
live there
you
now.
Can go and summon
it's their
some
wormhole
of these demons for your
There's
enemies
some
to deal
places
with.
you just can't go anymore.
Yeah, there's going to be an infestation.
I mean, you make a lot of money.
I'm sure players will find a way to kill them no matter what we do, because again, they're worth a lot. But yes, they are going to be
So there is like
exciting.
a reward to the for all the trouble. Yeah. If you kill them all, you.
So we're planning on basically some of the current value that's in the escalation NPCs, the current ones, will be in the new escalation NPCs, but that's going to be a smaller chunk of it, and then a big chunk of it's going to be in the final boss. So that way, we're encouraging you to actually finish the sites, unlike the current system where people get it, just kill the escalation NPCs and then wait till the next day, which is a very unintuitive mechanic. It's pretty awkward. But you're going to be able to get a lot of really cool value out of that and a lot of really cool gameplay.
It's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, just make sure to point it, or else it'll disappear and come back.
Yeah, yeah.
When you least expect it.
That's coming in Citadels, which is releasing soon at the Fanfest, and you're looking forward to Fanfest?
Oh yes, yeah. Fanfest is always amazing.
Yeah. You are probably doing a presentation, roundtables, all the usual stuff.
Yeah, I'll be in a bunch of those.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward
Pub
to it.
crawl.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yep.
5-0 group's going to be tearing everything down.
Yes. Leave nothing standing in Reykjavik. But yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait. It's the hardest work of the year, but it's the most rewarding as well.
You want to sleep for like 2 weeks afterwards.
Yes.
So then we'll have an expansion. So.
Yeah. Now we just have to release one expansion, and then we can go to sleep. Yeah. No problem.
Just one little. Yeah.
That's easy.
It's easy.
All
But
right.
actually, on that note, we couldn't actually do it if it wasn't for you guys helping us test everything on CC. And I know that it's been up and down lately in the last few days. And sorry about that, but thank you so much for all the help that you guys are doing and all the bug reports and everything else, because it's really making this the best that it can be and allowing us to polish and get all the little kinks out so that you've got it to play with very, very soon.
Yeah. CC testers, you the real MVP.
Yes. And I also want to thank everyone who joined us tonight watching the 07 show. It's been absolutely wonderful to have you all on. Any final words before we call this a night?
Well, it's now 493 hours until Fanfest, seeing as we've been on the air for an hour. And that means I actually really can't wait until the 07 show joins all of you in just 493 hours at Fanfest, where it's going to be, usually 34 hours of live broadcast, where we bring you all of the presentations and all the chats in between. And we've got a bunch of dev hosts. I think there's probably about 6 or 7 of us this year. And
lots of guests.
4 player presenters, lots of guests, lots of everything.
It's going to be wonderful. So we're gonna, even though you can't make it to Fanfest, we're going to bring Fanfest to you.
Yes. And if you are going to be there, then that's great.
Yeah, then you're going to get real Fanfest.
Yes.
So, but that's it for us tonight. We hope you enjoyed the show, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to be picking out the winners from our on Twitter for tweeting our hashtag later tonight. And even though there's a war going on and the doctrines are maybe not full of friendships, the friendship is the best ship, and keep it shiny. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.